Whew, what a great break week. But it's nice to be back home from Germany. Hey, thanks Earl for looking over the place while I was away. Hope it wasn't too much trouble. Hold on, where are you? Wait, did you have a party here while I was gone? Oh, look at this mess. We have a show to do in like 2 minutes. This place is a wreck. Just get back to the editor dungeon. It's fine. It's no big deal. We can make do working in this mess somehow. Alright, lights, camera. I'm Moonlight150, and this is my overview of the latest 100 Girlfriends manga chapter, Chapter 225, the Junior High Homemaking Sleepover. Be sure to show your support for the Scanlation team that brings us these weekly releases, as well as support the official release in your region so the series can continue. Now, even though this place is a pigsty, that shouldn't get in the way of us going over the chapter. Let's get started, Earl. Earl, I said let's get started with the chapter. What do you mean it's stuck? I swear. Just know the cleaning service fee to clean this place up is coming out of your paycheck, girl. Yahoo! 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 The chapter opens up surprisingly not on the rooftop for once for one of these kind of chapters, as we find our gaggle of middle school girlfriends of class 1-1 chatting it up in their classroom, where the topic of Eru wanting to be the perfect housewife for Rentarou comes up as the topic. And I guess in the small amount of time that Eru has been with the family, she has gotten the gist that Chiyo is quite the homemaker. So she has turned to her for her expertise on the topic, and wishes to be taught herself in the ways of being the traditional housewife. But this seems to be something Matsuri also wants to learn as well, and jumps on the proverbial bandwagon. Seeing that this has now turned into a thing, Chiyo has decided to make this into an event instead and offers to invite them over on their next holiday. Wait, holiday? What do you mean by holiday? Which holiday? Easter? Cinco de Mayo? St. Patrick's Day?
This is Patrick.
Goddamn Arbor Day? Ow! What's this?
Psych!
Oh, it's from Zoonscans. Do not read into the holiday thing. It's probably just the next Sunday. It did occur to me while reading the script that some people might read it like a national holiday instead of just a synonym for a day off. But I didn't bother changing it, lol. Well, okay then, I guess I'll move on then. No calendar-like breakdown this time. So we cut to immediately that following quote-unquote Sunday, where these two show up to Chiyo's house and are greeted by Uncle Hiro dressed up in his Sunday's best. Huh, so maybe it is Sunday. But Chiyo is having none of Hiro's shenanigans as she rips his formal attire off of him, much in the same fashion that Nano does. She must have taught her that technique. And here we see where Rentarou gets his love obsession traits from. Right from his Uncle Hiro. And Matsuri and Eru quickly see the family resemblance. Not only that, but we also see the other family members of Wantaro. And much like his namesake, he was eager to get a mouthful of Eru's artesian silky smooth twin tails, which according to Eru, only Rentarou himself is only allowed to munch on her twin tails. After all those family introductions, it's time to get down to business on all the homemaking lessons. Time for a training montage. Oh, and Earl, different montage music from last time. YouTube is still on us from the music twin tail montage music. After that montage, we get an extra reminder at how good Chiyo is at all of this stuff. Particularly the cooking because, well, needless to say, Hiro isn't good at cooking. Not only does Chiyo do a lot of the household chores and cooking, but apparently she's also the checkbook balancer of the house as well, when it's revealed that Hiro bought some extra cake for this gathering. That might have dipped into the household budget a bit too much. Now to the real heart of this chapter. After a quick dip in the bath with literally all three of them at the same time because of how small they all are, and yes, Usa-chan decides to almost join in by literally breaking through the fourth wall, we learn here though that becoming obsessed with her own twin tails that Eru knows proper hair care, such as drying from the roots outwards. You hear that, people with long hair? Hope you know that. Granted, Baldy McBalderson like me, tips like that are a moot point. Or if you're someone like Matsuri and can't be bothered with proper hair care and just scrub it dry with a towel, which actions like that won't fly under Eru's watch. After that tumultuous time in the bath, everything is winding down for the evening, and Eru and Matsuri find themselves overhearing Hiro having some alone time talking to the shrine for Chiyo's mom. And we get this sobering moment between these two usually boisterous girls as they take in the gravity of the situation until eventually, Eru decides to chime in that, yeah, Chiyo is this 13-year-old middle schooler who has already lost her mother and has been put in this position of responsibility. As they join Chiyo in bed, they give her a big reaffirming hug, telling her that if they ever need them for anything, just to ask. Like if life ever gets too overwhelming, or if she needs any help around the house. Or most importantly, if she ever feels lonely. But as thankful as Chiyo is by their offer, Chiyo reminds them that she has a lot of people in her life. Not only her dad, but her dog, her boyfriend, as well as everyone in the Rentarou family. And many, many more to come, but she doesn't know that part yet. Then comes the most relatable part of the whole chapter for anyone over the age of like 25, especially us 30 and over with kids. Where Uncle Hiro monologues over Mrs. being more in contact with friends and how everyone got busy with life and work and starting families and whatnot, and instead settles with just starting a sleepover with the dog. If that isn't what every single one of my Saturday nights looks like, I don't know what is. Cut to the next morning and we find out the girls spent most of the night doing love talk, which I kind of wish we saw a bit given, you know, the whole fact that they are all dating the same guy, but also the fact given the big time difference between the three of them. Chiyo has been there for quite some time, Matsuri is getting up there now, and Eru is brand spanking new. Granted, time is irrelevant and has no meaning, so what do I know? Only for them to hear some talking coming from Hiro's room, to find that Hiro did have a sleepover party that Rentarou came to join in the middle of the night, and do some love talk of their own. And here we find out after all this time, Chiyo's mom's name for the first time, that being Chiri. Does this make Chiyo's parents the first set of parents to have a complete set of names? No, wait, we had Karene's full set of family names because of a gag, but besides that, yeah, I think so. And that will do it for this chapter. A quickie but a goodie, though not what I was expecting at all because, well, it's not part of the formula. And I think that was kind of the point. We all went in expecting some kind of Eru-focused chapter, and Eru was the least consequential part of this whole chapter. Everyone who appeared in the chapter was more substantial than her. Honestly, the biggest part of Eru in this chapter was the fact that we were able to see that she is physically capable to emotionally exist without having twin tails 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In fact, she spent the whole back half of this chapter without them. This chapter really normalized her in that regard to just a girl who cares about hair care and likes a certain hairstyle for herself, which was definitely needed after that whole twin tail voodoo last time. And even though this was very much a Chiyo-centric chapter, Matsuri shined in this chapter, really climbing the ranks for me as one of the girlfriends with one of the most versatile personalities who fits just about anywhere. And we see that as Nakamura seems to love using her in a lot of different groupings, like her rivalry with Saki, festivaling with Momoha and Yaku, or just being with people her own age like Chiyo and now with Eru. She just seems to constantly fit in anywhere. And lastly, is it me or has Chiyo just gone a lot of development lately? I mean, yeah, getting the dog was over 20 chapters ago, but in relative to everything else, that did just happen not long ago. And here we are again with another focus on Chiyo. We get it, Nakamura. Chiyo probably is still not a lot of people's favorite.
Whoa, whoa.
But I think the majority of people have turned around on her, myself included. But I would like to see these kind of chapters given to other girlfriends. But this chapter does go to show just how powerful having a chapter of a small group of girlfriends does for developing these characters. Just look how much it did for Eru, even though she had the smallest focus of the entire thing. Even the side appearances of Hiro and the one panel shot of Rentarou was amazing too. So yeah, top quality chapter all around. Just odd that Chiyo kind of hijacked Eru's apparent focus chapter, but I guess that's the lesson to be learned here. Just when we think we learned Nakamura's pattern, he decides, nah, there is no pattern. He's always gonna keep us guessing. We should have learned our lesson last volume when there was no daily life, and instead we had Uto and her bangs from out of nowhere. And speaking of unpopular girlfriends getting focus chapters, next week is Sue finally getting hopeful time in the spotlight.
Moon.
Can you shut the f up?
And after this chapter, I'm hopeful that Nakamura is able to give something worthwhile to Sue. So until then, let's all start counting down those numbers until that chapter is out. I've been Moonlight150, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the next video. Earl, get the cleaning crew on standby! This place better be spotless for next week's video. That sounds like a goofy... Seeing that this has now turned into a thing, Chiyo has decided to make this... Yeah, I'm running out of breath. All those sound effects wore me out, hold on. Am I dyslexic?